Hi and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I want to take you to a couple of Scottish West Coast islands, one which is accessed by a bridge and the other by a ferry. But before I do that, I want to say just a few words about a new scheme for campervanners and motorhomers that's just been recently launched by Highland Council. Now, the scheme is purely voluntary and it's intended to help fund sustainable and responsible tourism in the Highlands. Earlier this year, the Council organised a wide-ranging survey to try and identify ways of raising income, and it was no surprise when the most common suggestion was through campervans and motorhomes. You know, there are still many people whose blood pressure goes sky high when they think of people visiting the Highlands and Islands and not paying for hotels or over-the-top charges for campsites. And many of these protesters are very vocal. So it wasn't a surprise when there was a demand to charge campervanners and motorhomers some kind of fee or tax when visiting the ever-popular Highlands. However, the Highland Council has recognised that the way we take holidays has changed dramatically in recent years. Many more people nowadays don't want to spend a week or a fortnight in a single location. They want to travel around, taking in many of the attractions the area has to offer. So the Council has introduced the Highland Campervan and Motorhome scheme, and it's actually pretty simple. For a fee of 40 quid, you can sign up for a 7-day membership which offers access to scheme benefits that will support continued improvements to services such as public toilets, wastewater infrastructure and environmental and ecological protections. Now, the cost of the weekly pass will also provide inclusive overnight parking in a dozen specified car parks between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m, designated car parks throughout the region, and free access to any of the Council's high life leisure locations, which offer showers, swimming pools and sports centre facilities. Now, this free access is for 2 adults and an unlimited number of children. And this is what one of the councillors told me in an email a couple of weeks ago. There's an identified need for facilities to accommodate campervans, motorhomes, roof tents and people who are using vehicles for short stayovers. The scheme offers an opportunity for the council to continue to support local priorities relating to tourism and visitor management. The Highland Council has also committed funds that will be invested towards improving the existing infrastructure and to provide more council-owned sites. That's got to be good. At first I was slightly dubious about the scheme, but the more I think about it, the more I like it. Of course, not everyone will want to park up in a public car park overnight, I understand that. But it's a voluntary scheme. And likewise, not everyone wants to stop over in an official campsite. It's another option on top of the number of excellent low-cost aires that are springing up all over the Highlands. And of course, the network of official campsites that are also available for people. Needless to say, there are those who claim it's a bad idea, and some campsite owners are already claiming they're losing business because of it. But from what I can see, it's all the usual suspects who are whinging. Those who have been calling for campervans to be banned outright, and those who see every campervan or motorhome owner as the riders of the apocalypse. I think it's a good plan, and I hope campervanners will think about supporting it. Come to the Highlands, buy a pass for 40 quid, and even if you only stay in the designated car parks for 5 of your 7 nights, it's only costing 8 quid a night. Spend the other 2 nights in campsites where you can dump waste, use the showers, fill up with water, and you're still doing pretty well financially. And I've got a few words for those campsite owners who are in disagreement with this scheme. Instead of whinging, think about creating a low-cost aire in your campsite. Move with the times, for goodness sake. Most campervans and motorhomes are pretty self-sufficient these days, and they don't need the facilities they might have wanted in the past. Modern batteries, solar panels, power banks mean that electric hookup points are not always necessary. And certainly on a personal level, I've got no need for swimming pools, children's play areas, or row upon row of hobbit houses or glamping huts. These facilities cost money that's passed on to campervanners like me who just want somewhere to park up for the night. And there are thousands like me. So why not have a corner of your campsite where the only facilities you pay for is a stopover fee, say a tenner a night, with maybe another £5 if you want to dump waste or maybe take on water. Look at it this way, 5-star hotels and B&Bs can live together in towns and villages throughout the country. Why can't campsites and low-cost airs exist in harmony? They do it in France, in Germany, Spain, Portugal, and virtually everywhere else in Europe. So, rant over. But please think about supporting the Highland Council scheme. If it works, and it'll only work if we support it, then other councils might see the value in it and follow suit. The folk who came up with this idea want us to come, they want to make us welcome, and they're trying hard to do something positive in what is an economic environment that's very difficult at the moment for them. And we really can help each other here. I'll put all the details of the scheme down below and you can have a look at it yourself. And please let me know in the comments what you think of the scheme and perhaps how it might be improved. Okay, let's take off now down to the west coast of Scotland, where I want to take you to one of these airs that I've been rambling on about, and also to a pretty reasonably priced campsite that's on a very special island. Our first stopover was on Seal Island, which is accessed by the so-called Atlantic Bridge just south of Oban. The bridge crosses a channel between the island and the mainland and lands you by the Tie and Trouge Hotel, the House of the Trousers in Clachanseal. It seems that after Culloden, kilts were banned, so men would change from their trousers back into their kilts when they reached the island. We were heading for the Campervan stopover in Ellenavey, close to Easdale Island. We've come over to Seal Island and taken the road along to more or less the end of the road to a little place called Ellenavey, where you can get a ferry across to Easdale Island. And it's just a beautiful spot here in the kind of Inner Hebrides, looking across to Mull and the island of Ling and beyond. It's idyllic. One of the local companies here, Seafarry, they do safaris by boat to look at wildlife around the islands and whatnot. I've developed a campervan motorhome stopover and aire in lovely surroundings, about 100 metres from the pub. Couldn't be better. It's £10 a night. There's no facilities. There is a toilet, maybe 200 or 300 metres away, which is open all the time, and it's nice and clean. And it's a tenner. It's a local thing. They're trying to cater for motorhomes and campervans, and I can't complain about that. What irks me slightly is that there's a public car park which is just full of campervans. We're in the air, and there's two of us. There's ourselves and another van here. If we don't use these places, we'll lose them. And while the public car park is, it's fine, there's lots of big motorhomes taking up lots of spaces. It's one of these things, if you want to contribute to local economy, pay your tenner, stay in the air. If you want to use the public car park overnight, which seems to be all right, I mean, I don't think anybody objects, so that's okay. But the council might change their mind at some point in the future,
and put a charge on it, or just put up a no overnighting sign. Anyway, got that out of the way. It's a fantastic spot. It's a beautiful area, well known for slate. There's, you know, all sorts of slate walls and everything else around here, and particularly over in Easdale Island. As I say, you can get a ferry across there, and there's a little museum which tells you all about Easdale and the surrounding area. We're here for the night. It's quiet. It looks like a kind of nice night. It's a good stopover for us on the road down to Kintyre and the ferry port at Tainlone, from where we'll cross to the island of Gia tomorrow for a couple of nights. So I just wanted to check it out. We've been here before. I've seen that there's an aire, but I wanted to come and check it out. And I personally think it's well worth a tenner a night just for the safety. And I think we'll have a quiet night here, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a wee wander around, which will probably end up over at the oyster bar. So there you have it. Elenabich motorhome aire on Seal Island. We're sitting just by the end of the Slate Pier, and it's lovely just to sit here and listen to the sound of the waves coming in. It's just not big waves, this is a gentle swell, and it's just very, very peaceful. It's a still night. Thankfully there's no midges appeared yet, and it's good. And I've even got my wee wife with me tonight, who doesn't normally appear in our videos. She's so shy, you know. So Gina, tell the folk what a lovely place we're staying at here.
Oh, where is it?
It's called Allenabich or Allenabich. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. Allenabich or Allenabich maybe. So, but we'll check that out anyway. But so what do you think is special about it?
Just lovely. It's clean. It's not noisy. There's not a lot of cars about. Just lovely. We're going for a wee drink in the pub now.
So that's the attraction, is it? Pub. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We'll have a nice wee wander down here after our dinner, and we'll wander back to the oyster bar and have a nice pint of beer or a glass of wine, and that'll round off what's been a very nice day. Tomorrow we leave here and we head south down to Kintyre, to a little place called Tainlone, where we get the ferry across to the Isle of Gia. It's known as God's Island. Apparently that's what Gia means, either Good Island or God's Island. So we'll take it as God's Island, and the forecast's looking good too, so can't wait. And the sunshine has brought out the visitors, but fortunately we were quite close to the head of the queue for the ferry. We didn't really mind the wait because it was lovely just gazing across to Gia and beyond the paps of Jura. And if you happen to arrive here the day before your ferry departure, you could always stay at the ferry farm aire. This is a really useful stopover for visitors to Gia.
The island of Gea was purchased by the local community in 2002, and one of the first things they did was build this campsite, and it's only a few metres from the ferry quay. It's a fully equipped campsite with some excellent showers, toilets, electric hookup, and everything you really need to stay on the island for a few days. A campsite will always cost a bit more than an aire, but the prices here were, well, I thought quite reasonable. £25 a night for a non-hookup pitch and £30 for a hookup. Just across the road you can hire bikes, including e-bikes, or hire a canoe or a paddleboard even. Just along the road there's a well-stocked shop and post office, and just down the hill is the Wee Isle Cafe, who do some great breakfasts and lunches and snacks and a fantastic range of ice cream. Oh, and we found a pony that thinks it's a zebra. We set off to explore the north end of the island with its waymarked trails and fabulous beaches. These beaches on the west of the island are protected from the Atlantic gales by aire, and it was really, it's quite a thought that we were closer to Belfast than we were to Glasgow. Back in the 1940s, a man called Sir James Horlick of the malted milk drink family bought Achamore House and its gardens. At the time, the gardens were a bit run down, but Sir James was a keen horticulturalist, and he made a huge effort to revitalise the gardens by planting new trees and growing all kinds of plants and flowers. I'm certainly no horticulturalist. I'm not even a very keen gardener. I'll leave that to Gina. She likes her garden. But even I can see that these gardens at Achamore House are just a bit special. The bees like it too. What I quite like about wandering through these gardens at Achamore is the feeling that it's kind of on the wild side of manicured, if you like. It's so many gardens like this I've been to are very manicured and everything's got little names on it and all the rest of it. But here it's this kind of nice sense. It's almost like walking through the Garden of Eden, which, considering we're on God's island, is wholly appropriate. booked a table for here for tomorrow night. A little bit of luxury. Gina's fed up with my campervan cooking, so it's a little treat, and I'm looking forward to it. We had a super meal in the boathouse restaurant, but I had to take out a small mortgage to pay for it. So to help calm me down, we've come down to the other end of the island. And another waymarked trail, this time a loop that takes in the highest point in the south of the island. And some great views across to Kintyre and closer at hand, Cara Island. Gia had decided to wear its cloak of hodden grey today, and the wind had picked up quite a bit too, but it was good to stretch the legs for a bit. And I suspect it won't be too long before we return to God's Island.